They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
One of the things that I do not like about Eagles fans on social media is the fact that if anyone says something that these fans on social media don't like, they will swarm at them like termites. If you say something that they don't like, it's like you kicked over a hornet's nest and they're going to attack you over it incessantly until you delete your account. I've seen this happen many times. It's the craziest thing ever. The victim of this is Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb came out and he said that if Carson Wentz does not stay healthy for 2 to 3 seasons, then the team should draft another quarterback and likely to replace him. He also said that if Carson Wentz does not go to the NFC Championship game in the next 2 to 3 years, then the team should also draft a quarterback to replace him. So I don't know if these two statements are like parallel to each other or they're two different ideas, but you know, it's hard not to agree with him when it comes to the health issue because Carson Wentz hasn't stayed healthy over the last 2 seasons. However, when it comes to the whole not going to the NFC Championship game, I think that is intellectually bankrupt. What if Carson Wentz takes the team to the playoffs 3 consecutive years and wins a playoff game each time, but we don't go to the NFC Championship game and you draft another quarterback? That's like pre-Baker Mayfield Cleveland Browns level of stupid in the sense of playing musical quarterbacks. I have defended Donovan McNabb before for comments that he is making right now. But here's the thing. Donovan McNabb can make these comments. He's allowed to make these comments. He's allowed to have an opinion, just like you or I are allowed to have an opinion. And I'm not coming out and saying that he's jealous or he's mad or he doesn't want Carson to break his records. I don't believe any of that. I don't agree with any of that. And I don't agree with using those statements because they're not actually logical statements. There are things that people use. They are kind of outs that people use, shortcuts people use when they get backed into a corner when they're getting trash talked on social media. So I'm not going to use that because I don't agree with that. What I will say here is that Donovan McNabb is not the right person to be making these arguments. Donovan McNabb was not the epitome of health at all. I think he had three season-ending injuries as a Philadelphia Eagle. Once, the 2 backups got the team to the playoffs, and he played a playoff game and won. Another time, he got injured mid-season, and the backup got the team to the playoffs, won a playoff game without Donovan McNabb. Was Donovan McNabb my favorite quarterback before Foles? Yes. I've defended him on these same comments, on these same pieces of merit. And what I'll say about this at the same time, when Donovan McNabb was replaced, okay, 05, 06, 07, 3 seasons where he had injuries, 2 of them season-ending injuries, okay? We went ahead and drafted Kevin Kolb to be his replacement, and we got rid of McNabb too early, and Kevin Kolb basically set our franchise back 4 years. So it's just not right. It's not the right route to go. I don't agree with him on that standpoint. I'm not saying that he's not allowed to say it because he's allowed to have an opinion. One piece of advice I have for Eagles fans, because this is kind of snowballed into this social media online beef where there's fans involved, there's former players involved, there are players involved. If you don't like what someone has to say and you think that it's not credible or it's not good, just ignore it. If you think that someone's trying to get attention and they don't deserve the attention, don't talk about it. I think that's one of the biggest issues with Eagles fans. We shouldn't talk about it. All right? Shouldn't talk about what the person has to say if you think they're just doing it for attention. You know? Because we had We had Skip Baseless come out. Skip Baseless is like, oh, Donovan McNabb, you're completely right. Well, guess what, Skip? You'd agree with anybody who doesn't like Carson Wentz. You would say that Carson Wentz wasn't good after 2017, after had a 4-touchdown game. He's like, this guy's got a deer in the headlights. Skip Baseless, you're not a real Cowboys fan. You took Dak Prescott's jersey and threw it in the garbage after they lost to the Titans in 2018 and said that the Eagles should better beat the Cowboys. You're rooting for the Eagles to beat the Cowboys last year before the Sunday Night Football game because you wanted Jason Garrett to be fired. You're not even a real Cowboy. You see, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Those are arguments that you should not have because they have no merit. It's just trash talking. You're feeding into the fire is what you're doing. And Lane Johnson has gotten involved. Lane kind of needs to keep his mouth shut because his mouth gets him in trouble. You could say his mouth was the key reason why the New England Patriots won their last Super Bowl after he came out and said that they had no fun. He needs to, you could say, he could come out and defend his quarterback because if nobody came out, many people could say, nobody does like him. He's a bad teammate. Carson Wentz is. And then Freddie Mitchell came out and, Freddie Mitchell claiming that Donovan McNabb ruined his career when in fact Freddie Mitchell ruined Freddie Mitchell's career, was really only known for 2 things, 4th and 26 and a ball that came out of the sky and landed right in his hands. Anybody could have been the recipient of that touchdown. And he retired and evaded taxes and went to prison. And then Brandon Graham came out, Trey Thomas came out. This is all snowballing, and the fact of the matter is, I do agree that Donovan McNabb should have come to Carson Wentz and avoided all of this mumbo jumbo and getting the media involved in that stuff. I don't think that McNabb is jealous. I don't think McNabb hates Carson. I do think McNabb in some cases is overly critical, but that's it. I don't think we should be coddling Carson. You look at Carson Wentz right now. Carson Wentz has said nothing. He said nothing. You know why Carson has said nothing? Because he's tuning everybody out. Okay? Carson isn't getting on anybody for anything. Because I know that Carson can fight his own battles. I've seen what Carson can do on the field, and he's been able to do some great things. The thing is, Carson knows that he needs to put up or shut up. And that's it. That's all we should have left it. That's as far as social media should have left it. That's as far as the fans should have left it. Going out here and, criticizing people because of what they say, and it wasn't even that bad of what he said. We should all be like Carson, and we should all take the high road. And that's all I need to say. Hope you guys have a nice day. Peace.